Luxury comes with prestige, and one thing closely associated with prestige is art. One man understood this and decided to use it in a highly questionable way. What if I told you that this image became part of a saga that could rival a Sherlock Holmes movie? This is the story of the stolen portrait of Winston Churchill, known as the Roaring Lion. August 2022, Fairmont Château Laurier Hotel, Ottawa, Canada. A member of the staff noticed something strange about Winston Churchill's portrait. The frame didn't seem right, and it wasn't hanging properly. Doubts arose, and it was decided that the picture needed to be examined thoroughly. The results revealed that it was not the original portrait, but a copy. 3 days later, the hotel publicly announced the theft. The general manager of the hotel, Geneviève Dumas, told the Canadian press that the theft was likely carried out by a professional, as removing the portrait required specific skills and a thorough understanding of the tools needed to do so. Additionally, we must not overlook the near-perfect installation of its copy. The Château Laurier Hotel made a public appeal for help from visitors who may have taken pictures of the portrait. It's worth noting that the hotel had fewer visitors during that period due to the pandemic. An investigation determined that the Roaring Lion was stolen between December 25, 2021 and January 6, 2022, 8 months before the theft was noticed and reported. But why this specific portrait? To understand its value, you need to know more about the two main figures behind this iconic piece of art.
Scene 3, take 1.
Under the socialist system.
The first is Sir Winston Leonard Spencer Churchill, the subject of the photograph and former Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, who played a pivotal role during World War II. Churchill was visiting Canada in 1941 when he delivered the famous "Some Chicken, Some Neck" speech to the Canadian Parliament in the House of Commons.
Mr. Churchill's speech, during which he pays tribute to Canadian soldiers on active service.
Immediately after the speech, he participated in a photo shoot organized by Canada's then Prime Minister, William Lyon Mackenzie King. This is when Churchill met the second key figure behind this iconic piece of history, Yousuf Karsh, a prominent Canadian photographer of Armenian descent.
Yousuf Karsh has photographed practically everyone of prominence throughout the world. Kings, queens, statesmen, church leaders, people in the worlds of science, arts, and letters.
Karsh had photographed many famous individuals, particularly political figures of the era. According to Karsh, the photo shoot was initially scheduled to last just 2 minutes. However, Churchill was smoking a cigar, and when the photographer held out an ashtray, Churchill refused to dispose of it. Karsh then approached him, politely saying, "Forgive me, sir," and plucked the cigar from Churchill's mouth himself. Karsh later recalled that he looked so belligerent he could have devoured him, which is how the photograph earned its title, The Roaring Lion. Additionally, in case you didn't know, that very same portrait has been featured on the £5 sterling note since 2016. The portrait was also featured on the cover of Life magazine on May 21, 1945, just 2 weeks after Germany's capitulation. You'll be surprised to know that Karsh's portfolio includes iconic photographs of the former U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt in conversation with Canada's former Prime Minister, Mackenzie King, a portrait of John F. Kennedy and his wife Jackie, physicist Albert Einstein, King Faisal bin Abdulaziz Al Saud of Saudi Arabia, civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr., legendary boxer Muhammad Ali, and French actress Brigitte Bardot. Karsh also photographed the Queen of the United Kingdom herself, Elizabeth II, and one of her portraits was featured on a Canadian $1 banknote, as well as a Canadian stamp. Karsh had a distinctive style at the time, and 20 of his pictures are currently displayed at the Château Laurier. The artist lived there with his wife for 18 years. These historical and artistic elements strongly contribute to the high value of this portrait and the rest of his collection. I'll leave a link in the description to the photographer's website so you can explore his remarkable work for yourself. Winston Churchill passed away in 1965 in London, United Kingdom, at the age of 90. and Yousuf Karsh passed away in Boston, United States in 2002 at the age of 93. As you can see, Karsh was far more than just a lucky photographer. The thief surely understood the importance of the portrait and the implications of stealing it, given the meticulous precautions taken. The Ottawa police investigated the theft for months with little progress until they discovered that a portrait with the same title had been sold at an auction in England, organized by Sotheby's, one of the world's largest brokers of fine and decorative art, jewelry, and collectibles, for nearly $10,000. The transaction occurred in May 2022, 3 months before the hotel discovered the theft, so it was not reported to the authorities in either country. The buyer was Nicola Cassinelli, a 34-year-old art collector and lawyer from Genoa, Italy. In an interview with CBC, Cassinelli explained that he was browsing Sotheby's website catalog when he found what he believed to be a copy of Karsh's Roaring Lion. Cassinelli purchased the portrait at the auction and hung it in his living room. 5 months later, he received a call from Sotheby's instructing him not to sell or give the portrait to anyone, and requesting permission for the Canadian authorities to contact him. Confused, Cassinelli searched online and discovered that a heist had taken place in Canada. Despite the instructions, Cassinelli waited for months, eventually believing the portrait was a copy after all. Then, in January 2024, he received confirmation that he actually had the original photograph hanging in his living room. For example, just imagine for a moment having the real Mona Lisa unknowingly displayed in your apartment. That's how crazy this situation is. The artwork was returned to the Canadian authorities during a formal ceremony in Italy, and the buyer celebrated the successful recovery with them. The Canadian media revealed that the thief was arrested on April 25, 2024, and identified as Jeffrey Iain James Wood, a 43-year-old man from Powassan, Ontario. He faces several charges, including forgery, theft over $5,000, mischief exceeding $5,000, possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000, trafficking in property obtained by crime, and possession of property for the purpose of trafficking, all exceeding $5,000. Wood was briefly incarcerated at the Ottawa Carleton Detention Center and released on a $5,000 bail. 3 additional guarantors, including 2 retired officers from the Ontario Provincial Police, each added $5,000. As part of his bail conditions, Wood must reside with the former officers while awaiting trial. He is under GPS surveillance, cannot leave the province, and faces strict travel restrictions within Ontario. As of the making of this video, no photograph of the suspect has been made available. Wood will be represented by Lawrence Greenspan, a well-known lawyer specializing in criminal defense. It's quite clear that Wood has significant resources and connections supporting him. Although no exact number has been disclosed, the portrait is estimated to be valued in the 6 figures. So yeah, this story could easily turn into a movie one day. If you want to know more about the world's most valuable art pieces, stolen or not, follow our channel.